Hey everybody, my name is Jamie Rossi, and if you're a financial advisor or life insurance agent, how would you like to make $10 or $20 or $30,000 over the next few days? How would you like to submit $200, $300, $400,000 rollover cases from qualified people that are willing to talk to you? Well, I created a course that shows you exactly how to do it step by step, and it won't cost you anything other than a few minutes of your time. It's totally free. But you're probably asking yourself, why should I listen to this guy who I've never heard of? And that's a legitimate question because you don't know that I've been in financial services, life insurance, and digital marketing for those industries in the last 10 years. And I came into life insurance. It's kind of a funny story, about 10 years ago. And at the time, I was working a minimum wage job, living paycheck to paycheck. And I saw a Grant Cardone webinar on how to become a millionaire. And it talked about the vehicle that you're in and the theoretical max for that vehicle. And he said to get into an uncapped vehicle if you wanted to become a millionaire, you had to get in a vehicle that allowed for it. So after that, I decided I had to get into commission-only sales. And I did what anyone else would do. I got on Google and I searched commission-only sales jobs, and a few things came up. You know, the regular things, solar, tech, door-to-door, auto, but financial services came up as well. And that one really, really stood out to me because a friend of mine, his name is Matt. We actually went to grade school together. We grew up together. I knew he went to college and he got a finance degree, and he had been working in financial services for the last 25 years. So I called Matt up and I found out what he was doing in the industry and if it was as good as Google made it out to be. And Matt told me, he's like, yeah, man, I'm crushing it. You would be absolutely great at this. But I found out he was selling life insurance, and I was like, no deal. That is not for me. It seemed kind of slimy. I didn't want to be a sleazy salesman, and I didn't like the reputation they had. So that was the end of that conversation. And I continued on my minimum wage, 9-to-5 job, hating my life. But Matt persisted, and he stayed in touch, and he assured me that I would be really, really good at it. And he convinced me to go on an appointment with him. And I went on an appointment with him finally, and I saw him do a rollover and make a $35,000 commission in 45 minutes. And I was like in shock. I was like, how is that even possible? He just talked about retirement, finance, investments, and the guy signed up. And I was thinking to myself, that's how people make that much money? Like, I'm doing the math in my head, and I was like, man, you could have $100,000 weeks. Forget about $100,000 years. So that was my Wolf of Wall Street moment. I quit my job and I went to work with Matt for a couple of years. And I gained all of the experience that he had accumulated over the last 25 years in a very short period of time. And things were going great. I had my first 6-figure year. Then the year after that, I had a $250,000 year. Then I had a $600,000 year after that. And everything was perfect. I was cruising along, living life I never thought I would. And then in 2020, COVID happened. And all of a sudden, everything that we had in place and everything that we were doing, which was in person, was wiped out. And as you know, with COVID, even if you were considered essential, it was very highly politicized. There was a lot of controversy. And so it was really hard to do the things that we were doing before COVID to get our commissions. And I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I was literally celebrating the week before on how good things were. And I started reaching out to digital marketing agencies. I thought for sure they would be able to get me some leads, and then I would be able to work remote and everything would be good again. But I worked with a lot of agencies, and they were only able to get me leads, and they had to be worked really hard on the phone. I was never really good at working the phones. And most of the people I got a hold of weren't even qualified, or they'd been called 10 times by 10 different agents that they were sold to. And if you've been in insurance or financial services for any period of time, I'm sure you've had that experience, and I'm sure you know that getting in front of qualified prospects is the most important thing, period. Everything else is secondary. The IMO, the carrier, the custodian, the office that you walk into, those are all secondary to getting in front of qualified people. So I got no results with digital marketing, and I spent tens of thousands of dollars. I was really frustrated, and that's when I decided I had to learn the marketing game. So I went into study mode and mad scientist mode, and I learned everything that I could about digital marketing, email marketing, using virtual assistants, automations, and technology, you name it. If I had a rocket cutscene, this would have been it. And I started running paid ads. I started sending emails, making calls, and again, spending lots of money to try and get some results and figure out what worked. And I realized for the first time how hard it was to get results with digital marketing. But I also realized where they had failed, because most agencies don't iterate much. They just set up ads one time, they run them for a bit, and they get what they get. But I ran them and I improved on them. And on, I completely iterated those campaigns until I was able to fill my pipeline with appointments, not leads. And that program worked well, and it generated so many appointments that I wasn't even able to handle them. So I started giving them out to some of the agents that I knew, and they loved them, and they wrote lots of business with them, and everybody was happy. So that's the story of how I created the appointment setter. And today we generate thousands of appointments for people in our industry every single month. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. If you're still watching this, I'm here to talk to you about a course that I created, which is really short and really easy to follow, that can make you $10 or $20 or $30,000 or more in the next week. And this course contains one of the methods that I learned during the start of COVID when I became really successful with my company. I discovered a secret that's hiding in plain sight, and I want to share it with all of you. This method works so well that I wrote more business in the first month of COVID than I did in the previous 6 months with a full pipeline. It's super viable. It's super lucrative. There's no catch except for one, you're the only one that can do it. It's not something that I can charge you for and do for you. And two, it only really works about once a year. Now, I know you might be skeptical because you just met me, but imagine if what I'm telling you is true. Imagine if you could have commissions pending for $10, $20, $30,000 or more in the next week, and you really have nothing to lose because this course is absolutely free. And I'm so confident in the power of this course and the results that you're going to get that if you don't see the kind of results I'm talking about, I want you to personally reach out to me and I'll offer you a one-on-one coaching session for absolutely free, which is something that we usually charge about $5,000 for. But that's how good I feel about this offer, and that's how confident I am that you're going to succeed with this program. So somewhere around this video, there's the link to sign up for this course. All we need is your first name and your email. You'll get instant access, and I hope to see you in there soon. Please, don't let your skepticism and past bad experiences with programs sway you away. I promise you, this is the real deal. You'll see very soon if you sign up. Enter your email below, sign up, and I'll see you soon.